If there is one thing about the newer, quote unquote, newer Ultimate Edition of Rifts that have always a little perplexed me, and of course, this is something that happened during my little like 8 year hiatus from gaming in my 20s, and when I got back into gaming, and consequently got back into Rifts in my 30s, and you know, saw what the newer version of the rulebook was doing. It was just like, I wonder why they did that, not being privy to any, whatever behind the scenes reasoning went into it. Is it perhaps a copyright thing, maybe, or something to make it even more distinctly distinct from Dungeons and Dragons? I don't know, but it's the fact that the types of dragon hatchlings available for player characters changed. It used to be, great horned lizard, thunder lizard, ice dragon, fire dragon, uh, and now it's like a frilled forest fuzzy runner and snow ice cat guy and uh, golden serpent cat's eye china dragon. Like I just like I don't really know why they felt like the need to shift. Maybe perhaps like at least in end game, I could, feel you could do something where just like, well, one batch of eggs had hatched, and then like another group of dragons had come and have had laid years eggs in the interim between the year 101 PA and the year 109 PA, and so characters being made for the years 109 or 110 at first level, those dragons might just be from different species of dragons who have different nesting cycles or whatever. But that's head canon. It's not like I've actually come across anything in the text that says that. Despite the fact that Riffs is certainly very long-winded and over-explains all sorts of things. But another thing I noticed though is just like I'm currently like kind of thumbing through the Northern Gun books and a couple other things. It's like where like they have been introducing NPCs as members of these newer dragon species, and I guess we really won't find out till Laszlo comes in. But like, yeah, are these just separate dragons? But the older dragons in the older world books and such are still as described of the older versions of these dragon species. Or is this like supposed to be like retrofitting everything? And like I said, when Laszlo comes out, I guess we'll find out when we see what kind of dragon Plato is presented at. Because classically, he's always been described as being a great horned dragon. But are they going to go with him one of the like the cat's eye dragons or something like that instead? I don't know. I guess we'll find out when we get there. Considering that the Palladium fantasy game still uses the other model of like dragon types, I just find the whole thing curious. It seems it would seem to be nothing little more than just a cosmetic change, except when you actually compare them side by side, there are little differences in how these dragon hatchlings are written up. And so, yeah, I find it curious. Of all the things that got changed in Rift's Ultimate Edition, it's the thing that probably possibly bothers me the most, and that I'm the most inclined to ignore. The fact that you have like the Leyline Rifter class, it's redundant, and like who the hell's going to even want to play that? You can already play a Shifter, or you can play a Leyline Walker. I don't really know why we needed some sort of like pseudo hybrid between the two. I don't know who. I don't think the Elemental Fusionist is as bad as it seems at first, though. The idea of including an OCC from a video game for the older types of pocket phones that like maybe a handful of people have played and nobody remembers. That might be a questionable entry, but I don't necessarily think it entirely like falls outside of like the Rift's vibe. It's certainly a bit more unique than just like your standard elemental warlock class or anything like that. Um, Giving a few extra like buff bonuses for starting characters in certain classes here and there. Like, yeah, considering the power drift and all the various supplements that have come out for Rifts that have introduced other new OCCs and RCCs and such, that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. But like, why change all the dragons so radically without any kind of like in-house explanation to to justify what happened? It just It's like reality revised itself moderately in an update. Maybe Rifts is just its own little matrix. I don't know. Anyway, just food for thought. Stay waspinated.